So you want to make a webcomic? Webcomics are comics that creators create online and then they post them online for others to read. Sometimes you can read them for free and sometimes you have to pay. Each webcomic has its own unique art style. Sometimes it can have an anime art style, sometimes it can have a Western comic book art style like Marvel and DC, and sometimes they can look like the ones that's inside the newspapers, like Garfield. Now let's talk about webtoons. Webtoons is a site where you can post your comic on and publish them for other people can, so other people can read them. But okay, so excuse me. Webtoons is a webcomic site, and it mostly has a bunch of Korean artists who makes mangas. It's a bunch of Korean mangas on here. You have Western artists, you got a lot of Western artists on here too. It's just many people from around the world who make webcomics, and then they post it to webtoons. Different types. Like I said before, each webcomic has its own unique art style. Most of the time, you will see webcomics with anime inspired art style on the main page most of the time, because like the audience on this site, I'm not gonna lie, most people prefer like an anime art style. Some people do prefer like a those type of art styles that you see, like those stylized art styles, those simple stylized art styles. um the ones you see on Tumblr. Some people like to read stuff like that, you know. But webtoons, it has many different unique art styles when it comes to webcomics. So you're thinking about creating a webcomic and you want to post it on webtoons. Well, I'm here to give you strategies and advice when posting your webcomic on webtoons. Okay, so publishing your comic. This is something everybody should know already. When publishing your comic, your webcomic, you gotta have like a certain size. Okay, so the icon has to be a certain size, and the webcomic pages has to be a certain size. If you need help finding the size, just go on Webtoons, and then like it should be like a little like a page that shows you what size is required for your comics and your icons. That's the first thing that you should know before posting your comics, because when you upload your comic and it's not the right size, it's gonna reject it. It's not gonna upload the page. If it's too big or if it's too small, it's gonna tell you that it's too big and it's too small. So you're gonna have to make your comics and your icon the right size. Let's talk about creating comics. Okay, so when creating comics, the panels and stuff, like you can have how many pages you want to. All right. Sometimes people draw like big panels on the page, and sometimes people split up, put little lines on it, and split up the panels and stuff. Um, it's up to you, okay? It's up to you. Everybody should know this too. Like, there's all different types of comic styles when creating a comic, anyways. Now, a lot of people think it's easy creating a comic, and sometimes it is, and sometimes it's not. It depends. Okay, so publishing your comic. Publishing your comic is very easy, but like a tough part is getting it seen and getting subscribers. Okay. Now then, um, when publishing your comic, it will sit. Um, well, yeah, it will sit, and it won't get like not a lot of attraction. And I'm gonna get into that. Okay, so let's talk about views on webtoons and um, gaining attraction. Okay, so Okay, it's like this. Each time when you're creating a new story on Webtoons and you upload it, sometimes your comic is not gonna get attraction. It's not gonna get any views fast. And a lot of people won't tell you this, but making a webtoon by yourself and just starting off is not going to be easy. It's just like trying to build up an audience when it comes to posting your art online. Webtoons is like that too. It's not going to be easy. Most of the time, when these people gain a bunch of subscribers and a bunch of views, is because they already have a already built audience. But if you don't have an audience and you're just don't have a lot of social media, your comic is not gonna get a lot of views. It's gonna take days to get views unless you promote it. So remember to promote your comic. Promote it. Always promote your work. That's how I gain traction on my comics. I promoted my work everywhere I posted my art at. So make sure you always promote your comic. Because the only way you're going to get a lot of views on your comics and subscribers is when you already have a built audience for it and a bunch of followers. Let's talk about subscribers. Subscribers is the people who subscribe, and those are your supporters, the people who read your comic and are waiting to be updated each time you upload your comic. It's not easy getting subscribers, okay? So you gotta attract the viewers with the name of your comic, your artwork, the cover page, and the story, like the summary too. That's how you attract subscribers. And like I said before, always promote your artwork. It don't matter if it's bad or not. Excuse me. Always promote your comic somewhere. Always. That's how I got most of my subscribers. I promoted myself. Like I said before, it's about promotion when you're doing it by yourself. If you don't already have a built audience, promote your stuff. Get it seen from other platforms. Okay, so I'm gonna give y'all a heads up. Sometimes you can get nasty comics on webtoons. Like for example, some people said that my characters looked bad or they was ugly, and when I started my comic out, I wasn't the best artist. So as I, got better at it, I did try to make my characters look more appealing and the art look more, um, interesting, so that others can go and at least try to look at my work. So I tried to make my character designs and clean up my artwork. Tried to make my character designs more appealing and clean up my artwork a little bit. So it's much more better than what it was when I first started publishing my comic. About art styles. Sometimes, I've seen a bunch of artists saying this on different platforms. Sometimes readers are not gonna read your comic because it has a certain art style. Sometimes the people are not open to going to read something that doesn't fit their standards. Just like in the art community, people are not going to look at your work unless it's just something they're interested in or something they like. So most of the time you see, like what I said earlier, a bunch of anime inspired art style comics on the main page. That's because people are like, a lot of people like the art style and they really like stories like that, but it's not all the time. Some people are open to different art styles and stuff too, because a while back it was this artist on Webtoon and she made this series. It's a romance series. I forgot the name of it, but it outsold a bunch of comics, like manga and all. It outsold all of them and beat them in sales. And she was an anime inspired artist, so that's for the people who don't have that type of style. You can still get some type of attention, even if your art style doesn't look all mega stylish. You can still get a lot of attention. It's some people who doesn't like that style that much, so don't get down just because people don't want to read your work because your art style. Just do what you like doing and make your own unique unique comic, because everything doesn't have to look the same. Just do what you want to do. Do what you feel. Do what you feel. Make something that you want to make. Okay, so let's talk about the title and the story. The title must be something interesting, and it must be something that will make a reader want to read your comic. Okay, something that will um, attract readers. The story should be something very creative, something that has never been done before, something that's really like it could be unusual too. When making a story in a title, it's important that you try to attract your readers the best way you can. Because I'm gonna give you an example. When I made my comic, I made it similar to a title to another comic was to attract readers. I didn't copycat off their story or nothing like that. I made my own story, but I did leash off the title. But then later on, I end up changing the title. I don't advise anybody to do that, but I'm just saying make an interesting story, make an interesting title, write an interesting summary of your story to attract viewers and subscribers. Okay, so let's get back to publishing your comic and making pages. Okay, so when publishing your comic, you gotta have a schedule so that your readers will know when you publish your comic, when it's going to be updated, okay? Because if you don't, and if you stop, like, updating the comic, your subscriber rate will go down, your viewer rate will probably stay in the same spot too. Like if you try to bring back an old comic, it's not gonna be easy. And if you stop updating your comic for a long time, a lot of people are not gonna stick around. So I advise you new creators to keep promoting your comic. It ain't always gotta be like consistently. You can do it every other day. Just have a schedule where you upload. You don't have to upload every day. Please be warned, when creating a comic, you have to always be creative and always have ideas, because making a comic takes a lot of work. And when I was making my comic, I made so many pages that I burnt out and ran out of ideas. This can happen to you. So always brainstorm and always be creative and always like write your ideas down. Your ideas down to have something later to fall back on. Okay? Now, sometimes you can burn yourself out by overworking yourself, by constantly pushing out comics all the time, pushing out comic pages. Do not do this. Take your time and go at your own pace. Do not post comic pages every day. You will burn yourself out. Sometimes even if you post your pages constantly, sometimes your subscribers are not gonna read the comic. They're not gonna read it at all. If you post at a certain time too, like at night, sometimes your readers are not gonna read it. Your subscribers are not gonna read it. So schedule and plan when you're gonna post and when you are going to create more comic pages. Do not force yourself to make pages. Do not rush. Just take your time. Go at your own pace. A lot of people who give the advice on webtoon comics or creating a webcomic, right? They're not gonna tell you that webtoons is extremely hard, because it's not easy. Even if you post the comic for the first time, you're not gonna automatically get views, because not a lot of people is going to see it and not a lot of people is going to click it. You gotta promote it. The more you promote it, the more it gets seen. Because if you're doing this by yourself, you're not gonna get a lot of views. And when I first started, I did this little strategy. Um, I don't advise anybody doing it, but I had promoted it and shared it, and then like sometimes you gotta promote your own self, you know. So adding comments on the webcomic on your webcomic, but don't do that. Just promoting it on your social medias, because the reason why these people are doing so good, like um some of these YouTubers are doing so good, is because they already have a developed audience. Because I seen one video where they told this girl to make a webcomic and they'll subscribe. That's the only way her comic got real big, real quick, and real views, is because she had an audience. Now, doing it without an audience is going to take a long time and it's going to take effort. But it's not hard, it's possible, it's doable. And when you following this advice, you'll do pretty well, and your comic will thrive and grow. I guarantee that. Get people you know to read the comic. Ask your friends. Get your relatives. It don't matter who it is. Just promote your comic to all types of people that you know, because they never count too. You know, it doesn't matter who you get to reach your comic as long as they subscribe. Okay, so let's talk about Topaz. Topaz is another site where you can post your webcomic on, and it's actually easy to get views on Topaz than it is on Webtoons. Um, like I said, it's just similar layout, you know, and you can just push your comic, and then you can actually gain some views quickly and easy. You just has to have like an interesting title and an interesting story, and you know that art doesn't matter, because everything on this site, I think people is open to, like, they more open to like different types of art style when it comes to Topaz. Webtoons is too, but I think Topaz is more open to different types of art styles. So you can also push your webcomic on Topaz too. You can have it on two platforms and see, see how each one is going. I mean, see how like it's different. You can compare. You can compare the numbers on each platform. So now that you get all the important info, you can use this while you while you create your webcomic and post it online. You can use Webtoons to share your webcomic, or you can use Topaz. And remember this advice to help you promote your comic and help it grow and it help it thrive and get an audience. Because when creating a webtoon, creating anything and getting the scene is hard, and you always gotta rely on promotion. And you really have to be creative, and you really have to work hard for what you want and what you're going for. And this has been So You Want to Create a Webcomic. So now that you have that important advice, you go out and make a webcomic and share it with everybody so that the whole world can see what you created.